I'm the computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm the computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to MacWay. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Central Coast, Monterey, and beyond. My name is Luigi Opido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers, right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I'm your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. That's right, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters you've ever visited. I'd like to welcome you to your Tuesday night, to your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org. We're also broadcasting at 89.5 and 89.7 FM. For those of you driving up and down the coast, you can find us a little bit easier that way. Super cool. But we're always here online, everywhere the internet goes, and that's further and further every day. Cool. Well, I'd like to welcome you to your Tuesday night, to your local radio station, and to this amazing show of the Computer Man Show, because we have so much stuff to talk about. It's amazing because there's so many things going on. There's like 4 hours worth of stuff every single day. So I comprise down the entire week into this 1 hour and give you about an hour and a half worth of data in that 1 hour because I talk so fast. That's right. So we're going to be talking about everything that going in and out, all the new stuff that's going on with computing, all the new updates, and there's a lot of just current events that are going on. So we're going to get into a lot of that, as well as some email questions and other things that are just in the happenstance of the computer world. If you're at any point you say to yourself, wow, this guy's talking a little bit quick, how am I supposed to get these steps down? Well, you can jump over to ksqd.org, our amazing website, and there we have our listening tab, and you can jump under there for a 2-week audio archive where you can listen to all of our shows and all the amazing stuff that we have here at KSQD. You can check out the schedule and then go to our archive and listen to something you might have missed, or see something that's coming up soon. It's going to be great. This website's awesome. All these current events, all sorts of things. And my favorite part is the giant candy red button at the top. That's our donate button that allows all of us to be here, allows us to exist, allows us to come in and sit at this amazing chair, this amazing studio, and all these amazing people, all the amazing volunteers that come in to make KSQD exactly what it is. We couldn't be here without you, and we wouldn't do it any other way. So hit that red button, make it monthly. And we really appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you every week. I'm so stoked to be here, and I could only be here because of you. So thank you, and keep it up. ksqd.org. If you'd like to reach out to me after the show, you can always hit me up by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. While we're on the air, I see my 2 magic dots. It means our lines are open at 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. See how that works? And you can give us a call here at the show. I'd love to hear from you. Any of the questions, comments, concerns, things going on with your machines, things going on with your bench, or any of your tech. I'd like to talk about it and see if we can maybe figure it out together. Again, that's 831-900-5773. But most importantly, what have you stumbled across here? What is this Computer Man Show? Well, we're all about updates, new devices, testimonials, scams, and you, our call-ins. What's going on in your bench? Why is your thing that costs a lot of money not doing the thing that it's supposed to do that you paid all the money for? Why is it not doing that? Well, let's talk about it. 831-900-5773. You can also jump on to On Air at ksqd.org, where we are graciously accepting emails here, and I can get one across the front, right in front of me here. If you have any questions, we can take a look, and hopefully I can answer it if you can't get to a phone. But otherwise, 900-5773, and hit me up. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m., and yeah, sure, why not? 831-900-5773, one more time, why not? Yeah, let's do that. And On Air at ksqd.org. Ooh, see, I give the phone number about 7 times. On the 8th, it comes out. Let's see what's going on the real world before we start out with our scams. Hello, you're on with the Computer Man. How can I help you?
Well, Luigi, I got you. You know Santa Cruz streets?
Yes.
Okay, good. You know where Cayuga Street is?
Yes.
Good. I want you to write this down.
Okay.
621 Cayuga Street.
Okay.
And you'll see a white Fiat.
Okay.
And it's either nose in or nose out.
Okay.
And its license plate reads Lueegie. Luigi.
Whoa! A Fiat with Luigi's license plate?
That's right.
Dude.
That's right. You can't miss it. I've been waiting to call for a long time. Make sure you know it.
That's amazing.
Next time you're in this area, just drive down the street and look on your western side, and there it is.
Oh, dude, I'm going to take a photo with it.
Luigi.
That's so cool, dude.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Got it off my chest now.
All right, dude. I appreciate you. Thank you for the call.
Huh?
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Now that That was a great phone call. 831-900-5773. If you have any amazing things like that, I'm going to check that out. A white Fiat with my license plate on it. That's really cool. Awesome. Thank you for looking out there, and thanks for listening. Our listeners are among the most amazing people out in the world. I love them. All right. So let's see what we've got today. We always start the show off with some scams. Ugh, scams, because I hate them. But we're going to talk about, see what we've got here. I want to talk about one of the most important ones because it means I can actually take one of my tinfoil hats off and put it on the shelf of legitimacy. Oh, how often do you get to do that, huh? Some tinfoil hat conspiracy, whatever, that you've been wearing, and you're like, I know this is happening. You're like, but people are like, nah, it's not happening. And then something comes out and tells you that it's real, that it actually happened, and your tinfoil hat can literally be legitimate and turns into a wooden hat or whatever is legitimate for a hat. So Facebook, my best friend of all time, Facebook, an ad partner, admitted that smartphone microphones are listening to people talk to serve better ads. Okay, so the story I always throw out there is the hummingbird story that I had. I'm not a birdist or a birder or a birdie or whatever the people are that look at birds. I like birds. Birds are cool. I like hearing them at the park and everything, and go birds. But I'm not one that seeks them out. So I don't buy bird seed or any of that kind of stuff. But I ordered something, and sometimes they throw extra things in the box if you order something from China or you order something for something. And one of the things was this like hummingbird feeder, and I threw it in one of our drawers in the kitchen, forgot about it forever. And so my partner's phone was sitting on the counter there, and they have Instagram and Facebook apps, I believe, on their phone. If anything, just the Instagram app, maybe the Facebook app, I'm not really sure. But the phone was sitting there and just hanging out, locked, nothing, no big deal. And I open the drawer and I find this thing. Go, look at this! It's a hummingbird feeder. And that's interesting. So I'm like, I wonder what kind of stuff goes in a hummingbird. Is it like sugar water? I'm like, this would be really cool to put up on the window. Hummingbird feeder. How random. Okay, back in the drawer. We'll remember it for the next time or for the weekend or something and put it up later. Not 48 hours later, in her feed on her Instagram, I believe it was Instagram, starts showing up, and there are hummingbird food ads, hummingbird feeder ads, bird things, bird this, bird that. And you go, okay. I mean, again, tinfoil hat, put my tinfoil hat on. You sit in there and I don't talk about birds ever for anything. And here we are talking about birds. And all of a sudden there's ads showing up on my phone about birds, or on her phone. That, to me, would either mean that I'm crazy, or something might be listening to that specific thing that I'm talking about, that has the microphone enabled, that has AdSense, that does these things, that has all this stuff that wants to listen to what you're doing, to make sure that gives you ads so that they can make ad revenue, so that they can sell the ads, so they can sell more ad revenue space, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or it could be that, right? But they're not going to tell you that their microphones are turned on. Yes, you have to enable the microphone when you have the app because, there might be some voice-to-text stuff or something. But if you go to tosdr.org, which is terms of service did not read.org, they have the Instagram terms of service there. And what they do, this tosdr.org, it will take terms of service lists like the one from Instagram, like the one from Facebook, like the ones that are hundreds of pages long, and they will put basically a synopsis of the things that you should know, what you are signing away when you say yes. And tosdr.org is one of my more favorite websites to go to kind of show people like, oh, look at this. You like that service? Check this out. And that's my radio spin the screen around sound. And that spin the screen around, show them what they're saying. Oh my gosh. There's actually an art installation for terms of services, and it was I don't remember where it was, but it was in a very, very, very tall building on the inside. And the Instagram one, it was either Instagram or TikTok. It might have been TikTok. That was at the very, very top of the wall, like 2 or 3 stories high, went all the way down the wall, down the floor, out the front building, out into the street, and across like to the park or something. It was like that long. So, I mean, we don't read this stuff, but going back all the way back to the beginning, Facebook partner admits smartphone microphones listen to people talk. So it said, this in the article, it says, sometimes the timing of tailored advertisements on social media platforms, particularly meta-operated platforms such as Facebook and Instagram, can be incredibly jarring, especially if there's only a matter of seconds between the conversation ending about that product and then suddenly appears in the middle of your feed. That's amazing. How amazing. This is an amazing thing. No, it's programming. And it's something you signed away. It's your right that you signed away by using Facebook and making the mistake of having Instagram and all that stuff. I'm sorry. I know everyone has Instagram. I know, but it's awful. It's just social media in general, right? Okay. Let's see. It says, so it says the consistency has been begging the question for some time. Quote, do social media companies use the microphone in your smartphone to listen to conversations that are then used to feed tailored advertisements? Right? Do they? And a new report from 404 Media, can't say that, I guess, cites documents leaked to its reporters revealed, quote, active listening, unquote, software that unsurprisingly uses the form of artificial intelligence to, quote, capture real-time intent data by listening to our conversations, unquote. The leaked documents cite a pitch deck from Cox Media Group, a TV and radio giant that's one of Facebook's alleged marketing partners. It shows that the active listening software is to capture voice data from a smartphone device and then be paired with behavioral data on the individual to further and hone in the targeted advertisements. CMG stated that Amazon, Facebook, and Google are clients of this active listening software, and follow publishing report from 404 Media, Google has removed CMG from its partner program list. I wonder. So yeah. It, like, legit, that is happening, right? Like for once, I can take my tinfoil hat off and go, yay. So, all right. So the other thing that we want to talk about here, let's see. It's, not really any scammy stuff. Any scammy stuff? No, cyber101.com. Again, I just want to push that website. It's a really good website that it was made by these two dudes that have, one has like cybersecurity knowledge. The other one has some digital design knowledge. And you can go to cyber101.com, and they'll cover topics that you can learn about, like global threat landscapes, phishing, passwords, multi-factor authentication, malware, etc., ransomware, device security, all that kind of stuff. If you're curious about these things, if you had a family member that got screwed by one of these things and you'd like to know more about them for your own intestinal fortitude, great. Cyber101.com. You can sign up for little classes, do quizzes, etc. like that. It's an awesome resource. They don't do any data mining. It's legit, and it helps you learn about stuff that's out there. So I'd highly recommend it for anybody who has either fallen into the pit or is just curious about how to protect themselves a little better and just wants to know what's out there. This is a great website, and it's got no ads. It's just straight up. It's really cool. Okay, let's see. Another thing. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about this. This is really cool too. So there is a new MS Paint that is coming out. It hasn't been released yet, but it's powered by Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot is the artificial intelligence that Microsoft is using it's kind of like their DALL-E, or it's their engine that they use to create images and to create voice prompts. It's like their ChatGPT thing, right? So MS Paint, which has been around since like Windows 1.0 or whatever, is a very rudimentary painting, drawing software. It is one of those things you can have some colors. I use it for cutting and pasting. Like if I do a screenshot, I'll paste the screenshot into MS Paint, which I'm able to crop it out real quick, save a new one, save the file, and save it as a JPEG just on my desktop instead of using the snipping tool, because I'm old school. I can do the shortcuts really quick. It's a great piece of software. It's super simple. It's always been. And then there's people who paint with it and all that kind of stuff. But Microsoft is like turning MS Paint into like this powerhouse, and they did this. They did like a preview of it, and it's weird. It's got you open up MS Paint. And it's got the drawing area, but then it's got a text area in the center, and then it's got like a preview window in the bottom right hand corner. You're like, what the heck is all this? And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to start with a text prompt. You can use MS Paint just the way you normally do, just drawing, scribbling and stuff. That's fine. But the new way to use it with AI is to start with the text prompt. So you say, a forest of redwood trees with a river, going through the center of it, with 2 or 3 rabbits and a few other type of animals, with a setting sun in the background. So that's what you type in. So you have this like redwood forest with a river, some animals, and the sun is setting. So now what you do, now you've typed that, it doesn't draw it for you or anything. Now what you do is you crudely draw what you're thinking that would look like. So just to be terrible, I would draw, like a brown stick with a green puff on top, another brown stick with a green puff to make the trees. Even though they're redwood trees, doesn't matter to make it like a tree. And on the other side, you do like 2 more, and then you go to blue and draw a big old blue stripe down the center of it, and maybe some really crude like stick figure rabbits and this and there, and then draw like a sun in the center or on the right, wherever you're thinking of it. as you're doing this, as you're drawing these crude like cave paintings, right? On the right-hand side, the AI is taking your prompt and what you're drawing and literally creating art on the bottom right-hand corner. Now, there's a slider. The slider can be very, very plain, where it can be pretty close to what you're actually drawing, so it looks like cave drawings or whatever. Or you can slide the slider all the way to the right, and it makes super high-definition images of trees and the sunset and a river with all the rocks and all this stuff. And it is insane. It does it just right on the fly. The stuff that's coming out for AI is there's a lot of garbage, of course. There's a lot of fronts. There's a lot of fakery, but there's a lot of cool stuff that is coming out. I had to use I got to use the Microsoft Copilot for creating images, where you can create you basically can say, create a logo for this. Like I wanted to mess around with my shop logo. So I spent like 5 minutes before I had a house call, jumped on it real quick and said, make me a computer shop logo that says Pleasure Point Computers on the bottom, that's in the style of this DeLorean. And I took a DeLorean and dropped it on the image thing, because you could just upload it, boop, just drop that image, and have some computer stuff around it and make it, blue and yellow or something. And you hit go, and it takes maybe 20 seconds, 25 seconds, something like that. And then all of a sudden, boom, you get like 3 or 4 drawings, and they kind of look AI, because I've looked at a lot of AI stuff, but they are incredible. It looks great. And that was, as literally as I was walking out the door, and instead of going to the bathroom real quick, I jumped on AI and just made some icons. And that's it. There they are. And you can download and save them in high resolution, and as far as I know, they're yours. There they are. It's really something. So if you haven't messed around with it, it's just kind of fun, because you can give it a prompt and it will come back with some nutty things, and it'll come back with stuff you're like, oh, I kind of like that. And you can say, okay, take the third photo, and I want you to get rid of the trees, but add this and da 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 da, and you can do things with it. It's really cool, really cool. So there's some really neat stuff going on, and that's MS Paint that's coming out. It's not out yet, but the preview looks really cool, and they have a video of it online as well. The other thing that I want to talk about that's not, well, I don't really want to talk about it, but it's kind of irritating. Like if you use Microsoft Remote Desktop, that's a program that allows you to go from one computer and log into another computer at another location and move the mouse around. Like if you have a server in China and you need to get to that server, but you're not in China, you're someplace else. So you can get a remote desktop session going, and the remote desktop session will open up the desktop there and show it on your screen, and then you can then move the mouse around, and then that's the remote desktop. That, if you were to say, hey, there's this weird program, you've never heard of it, it's called Windows Remote Desktop. What do you think it does? You're like, well, it probably creates a remote desktop someplace, I would think, and it's probably by Microsoft, because it's called Microsoft Remote Desktop. Just throwing that out there. Okay, so just now that you know that, Microsoft is changing the name of Microsoft Remote Desktop. Now, granted, remember, Remote Desktop allows you to create a desktop remotely, and it's made by Microsoft. It's in the title, right? Microsoft Remote Desktop. What do you think they're naming it now? What do you think they're changing the name to? Something logical, right? Something that's going to make sense? Nope. Microsoft Remote Desktop is being renamed to Windows App. That's the name. That's the whole thing. Windows App. Windows App. That's the name. So if I need to do something for remote desktop, or my remote desktop isn't working properly, or I need to find some protocol that I need to run on remote desktop, or I need to find out something else that's going on, or need to download the latest version or something like that, you expect me to put Windows App into the search bar and get back what I need? That's like putting the into the search bar and going, well, I needed that one article. It had the word the in it. The shows up quite a bit at other places. And so that, what a nightmare. What a nightmare. If I need help with remote desktop, there's no way I'm going to be able to find it by searching Windows App. What are you doing, Microsoft? Come on. Between this and removing the control panel, you're literally shooting all of your technicians in the face. I would say in the foot or the knee or the leg or something. This is face shooting stuff. This is dumb. Like I don't get it. There's no reason to change the name of it. If you're I don't know. There's probably some reason, but I just don't get it. It's really annoying. Really annoying for all the technicians. And if you're a technician out there, I'm sure you're annoyed by it too. That's just stupid. Let's see what else we've got here. We've been also talking about the new the new Snapdragon processors. So Intel is no longer the chip manufacturer for all these companies, I guess. They're going to Snapdragon, and the Snapdragon, Qualcomm makes the Snapdragon processor. So you have an Intel processor, like an Intel Pentium processor, right? And then you have the Qualcomm Snapdragon, Ford Ranger. That's the like DMC 12. That's the idea, right? So you have the name of the company, and then you have the name of the processor. So evidently, and that's these Snapdragon processors have just been rocking everything. I just recently recovered an M2 MacBook that was busted up by a customer, and I fixed it up so it actually works again. And the speed of these ARM based processors is crazy. Like, you turn it on, and granted I have to put my password in, but by the time I when I hit the button, put my password in, launch Google Chrome, Brave, Tor browser, whatever it is, and get to a website and actually be on the website, it's like 29 seconds. And that took the time for me to type in my password, which is 3 or 4 seconds. You have just enter. That takes a couple seconds. If I didn't have to do that, it'd be even quicker. It's crazy. But there's also been a thing that gaming is not as good on some of these processors, which is going to be very interesting because they have been rocking everything else. So there's a benchmark that came out from TechSpot that said that this 8-core Snapdragon X Plus laptops may be terrible at gaming. And these are the less expensive Copilot Plus laptops powered by the 8-core Snapdragon X processor. It's supposed to come out later this year, the IFA 2024 show in Berlin. But they're saying that they're kind of becoming a little bit of a disappointment out of these benchmarks. Now, granted, this isn't out yet. You can't buy this chip yet. But they're showing that they might have some work to do still. So it's just underwhelming. There's a place or a program called Cinebench. And in Cinebench 2024, the new chip scored 102 points in the single core, 5% lower than the 107 points achieved by the 10-core Snapdragon. So in the multi-core benchmark, the new processor only managed 649 points, which is 20% lower than the 809 points scored by its more powerful counterpart. So, and then in Blender and Geekbench, they're also evidently pretty disappointing as well. So it's just saying that it's just underperforming. And it's not great, so they run Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They said it's a 6-year-old game. The GPU can only achieve 18 frames per second at 1080p on low settings and just 12 frames per second on high settings at 1080p, significantly lower than the 33 frames per second scored by the X Elite. So, I mean, there's the Snapdragon X Plus and then the X Elite, and the X Elite is a huge difference. If you go to the M2 or the M2 Ultras or the M2 Pros that are in the MacBooks, granted, like if you go from like the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro have the same processor in them, but the MacBook Pro has a little bit different programming and a fan, so they can ramp it up a little bit hotter and run it a little bit harder, and it'll process a little bit quicker because it has a fan. So this is interesting. This is the first quote unquote negative press that I've seen about the Snapdragon processor, because everything has just been like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever, da 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 da, and I can't imagine what Intel's doing. They just must be pooping bricks, because this is their entire bread and butter. Before, they had Intel and PCs, and then of course the system on a chip for the M series processors went away. That went away because the M series processors came out. So now Mac is not buying Intel chips. They use their own system on a chips, their own SoCs, or SoC, system on a chip. Anyway, and then now the PC people are going to Snapdragon because everything's going ARM to compete with Apple. And Intel's sitting over here going like, is someone going to buy our processors? Now, granted, there's a lot of processors still going around. A lot of computers are not ARM powered. We're in the infancy here, but I don't know where this is going. This is not something that I saw. Now, and granted, a lot of the chips are being made by the same manufacturers and everything. Everything when you go to Intel and you go to Snapdragon, you go above them. There's like a main, I think it's like TMC or something like that creates all the chip making computers and the chip making processes and the machines that make those chips, etc. But it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I don't know what Intel's going to do. And then they had that problem just recently with all their 13th and 14th gen chips. My goodness. So, it looks like cool. Looks like we just got an email from somebody coming out there. Quick, KSQD specific question. Can you give a quick talk about the workings of the mail system for on air? Okay. Messages routed to several mailbox each show. Oh, okay. Can the message be sent at any time? So it is our on air at ksqd.org is literally it is only a system that is Gmail. That's it. It is just a Gmail email address that we open up here in front of everybody, and then that allows us to take a look and see what's coming through. So if I'm sitting in my spot from 6 to 7 p.m. and an email rolls through, I'm going to assume it's for me, and I'll check it. If it's not, I leave it up there, and then the next people that come through allow that to come through. But a message can be sent at any time. Usually, if we get something in the on air and it needs to go to somebody else that's not in the station, we each have our own individual email addresses. Like I have mine, Luigi at pleasurepointcomputers.com, but Luigi at ksqd.org. And you can send me an email, and then we'll see it here, and I'll get it over my stuff, but they'll forward it to us as well. So, but yeah, put the show's name, the host name, in the subject line. That'd be great. But if you do send one that's outside, sometimes it might not get to the person because the person sitting at the bench actually has to forward it along. It's just a Gmail email question. Or Gmail email inbox. Yeah. So we got somebody on the line here as well. Let's see what's going on in the real world again. Hello, you're on with the Computer Man. Thank you so much for holding. How can we help you?
Hi, Luigi. I'd like to request that you spend a little bit more time as you went through the listening microphone software really quickly. So I was wondering if I could grill you on it a little bit more.
Yeah. Hit me. Let's go.
Okay. Now, I think that just a comment. I think it was such a weird, bizarre situation where you were thinking about the hummingbird feeder and getting that. I would have thought right away that was one of these bizarre Jungian synchronicities. You know, I've had those happen where you're reading something the night before, and then next day you go out in the world and you'll see it 3 or 4 times somewhere.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you'll look at a license plate and it'll have the right numbers on it or something like that.
Yeah, or a town you just read about or something. You're like, I've never heard of that town. You'll see some person that has a license plate from that town. You're like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously it wasn't. And so I wanted to know, first of all, do you have to have your phone on for them to listen? Was your phone on at that time?
My phone was powered up, or my partner's phone was powered up with the lock screen locked.
Okay.
So the phone physically had power, but it was in like a black screen, sleep, just sitting on the counter, no interactions with it.
Okay, but the phone was on.
The phone was physically on. Yes.
Okay. So then the next question is, if your phone is off, can they still listen?
Theoretically, no, they can't, because everything's powered down and nothing can be processed through. Now, again, with my little tinfoil hat thing, I read about a whole thing about how they found something on the iPhones. And again, this is just something I read. It could be total BS. But I read about this thing that they found a section on the iPhones that about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And Snowden talked about this, that there's something on the phone. They didn't know exactly what it was. But later on, it was found to be some type of active listening thing where you could energize something that would allow the phone to turn on listening devices. And that's kind of why Snowden always put, everyone that would come and interview him, he'd make sure all their phones would go into a Faraday cage or into the freezer, because then that would impede all signals in case something else was powering it, even if the phone was off. So there's this whole thing that say, there's these vans that have special equipment in them that can push basically a wireless signal, kind of like how we wirelessly charge things, but more powerful, more directional, and it could actually pierce through walls, pierce through whatever it needs to in a short distance, like within a city block, that would then empower something that would turn on the microphone that would then listen. You're like, holy crap, that sounds like some serious weird spy stuff or whatever. And I've heard that existed. I don't know. I never got any confirmation. So to go on with that, yes, your phone should be off when it's off, but if in doubt, Faraday cage is the best way. No signals come in or out of the little metal box. But yes, that again. So I'll take my tinfoil hat off of here and we can continue.
So do you have one of those boxes?
Yeah, I've got a little Faraday cage, but that was more just for fun. It's just a little. It's like a little metal box that if I put my phone into it, it just loses complete signal.
Okay. So you're saying that Facebook has this capability, and you sign away your privacy rights, and Instagram, any other company. How about Amazon?
I'm not sure about Amazon. Meta was the big one that did all the stuff with the ad revenues and stuff. But in this article, it did list Amazon. It listed Google. It listed a number of them that use this sense. What's it called? What did they call the thing? Oh, that's not it. They called it the active listening. Yeah. So, Google, and it said Cox Media Group, which has a lot of people underneath them. But yeah, Amazon, Facebook, Google are clients of this active listening software.
Okay. So what would you recommend for people over and above getting a box? If they don't have a box, are you saying you should remove their apps, Instagram, and Facebook, remove their apps from your iPhone or your tablet or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little nuclear to do that, but yeah, I mean, you could turn your phone off. You could not be in the room with your phone. That kind of thing. You could leave it in the back room and let it charge in the back room. I mean, that it could be something as simple as that. The idea then, so let's say my Faraday cage. I put my Faraday cage in, all my signals go to zero. The microphone still works. So theoretically, if it's working the way that I think it would work, the way I would program it, would be even without any signal, without any cell phone signal, I'm out in the middle of a campsite or something, it's still going to listen and it's going to buffer. I've got a ton of memory and a ton of space on this phone. This phone can hold buffers for days if I wanted to, let's say. So if I was with zero signal, I would think the phone could still listen if it was on, and then it would just hold that in a giant buffer. As soon as it got signal, it would upload all the stuff that it had to listen to, and then my ads would come through based on whatever that would be. So I would think that even the Faraday cage wouldn't stop it, all in all. It'd either be turning the phone off so it can't record you, so it can't listen, or put the phone someplace else where it just physically cannot hear you, and like in another room or whatever, and then that would be the simplest ways, I think. It just kind of sucks, and because, and it's now, I mean, we knew this. We all felt this. We all felt it in our bodies that it was doing this, but now to really have a definitive answer that this is really going on, it just kind of sucks.
And so you can't do anything about it. I was thinking if I knew they were listening, I would start discussing the lawsuit I was going to bring for invasion of privacy, and then maybe top it off with some expletives about their character.
Right? Love it.
So how do you like that, guys? Anyway, so you signed away any possibility of action against them for listening?
I think so. I haven't looked at the litigious side of it, but I do know that when you're on the app, that anything you post online is theirs. Anything you say online is theirs. If you're searching stuff, they can forward it along to companies. So yeah, I mean, I very rarely use Facebook. I use Facebook Marketplace to buy stuff. I will literally go download the app when I'm about ready to buy something, then use the app, go through all the transaction stuff, and as soon as I'm done with it, I uninstall it and I re-download it when I need it. And I'm a weirdo, and I like doing that, and I can take the time, and I have my password saved, so it only takes me an extra minute or so to do that. But I know for a fact that Facebook and the Meta company that owns Facebook, that owns Instagram, they are basically among the worst, if not with TikTok, for abusing the access that you give them to be on the phone, for microphone, for the camera, things that you need to use the app for to take a photo or take a TikTok or whatever you're going to do with Facebook and stuff. But then they use that against you and just capture everything on the phone. And TikTok's really bad, but Meta's next on the line. So yeah, I just make sure I don't have the apps. Go to facebook.com if you can on a browser. That's better. At least the app doesn't have global control of itself and of the features inside your phone. That would kind of be my workaround, and that's what I do right now. I literally I was looking for some gardening pots the other day, and Facebook Marketplace usually has a lot of free pots and stuff, so I downloaded Facebook, signed in, looked for the pots, found a couple, emailed some people. This is my email, write me back, uninstalled Facebook app, but that's just me.
Okay, so it just seems that there should be a legal difference between you initiating activity on your Facebook or any social media, Instagram or whatever, and them initiating it without your permission or knowing your awareness. There should be a legal difference.
Yeah. And there's got to be something that we're signing away.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned, I think it was 3 letters of a website when you were originally talking about this. I didn't quite get that. Is there somewhere where people can read more about this online?
Oh, yes. So it's not necessarily about this, but the terms of service that you sign up for, TOSDR.org. It stands for Terms of
TOSDR.org.
Yeah, stands for Terms of Service Didn't Read. TOSDR.org. And then it's a search engine, and then you can type in Facebook, you can type in Meta, you can type in Instagram, you can type in Amazon, you can type in all these companies, and it'll give you a breakdown of the terms of service that you can read in like a minute or so, and what you're handing over, and what section it is and where it is in the terms of service. You can actually read the full legalese if you want, or you can read the breakdown on the right-hand side. It's a great website just to know what you're handing over.
Definitely. Well, thank you for clarifying all that, Luigi, and more power to you.
Awesome, man. You're welcome. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Always great to hear from you. All right, take care. And that leaves the phone lines open for you at 831-900-5773. But after we go to a quick break, it's about the halfway through the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. That means it's a little bit past 6:30. That means, Penelope, you're out there. Help feed Enzo. Help Mama. Help Mama. All right, love you, Penelope. All right, we're going to go to break real quick, and we will be right back here at the Computer Man Show on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD, and always online at ksqd.org.
There goes the last DJ.
Oh, honey, you turn me on. I'm the radio. 'Cause when you can't find a friend, you still got the radio.
As long as there's a radio to listen to it on, K-Squid will always be your friend on the dial. 90.7 FM. Many voices, one station. K-Squid.
Listen to the radio, radio.
Have you ever asked yourself, what does being healthy mean really? Is it the absence of disease or a state of optimal function? How can I decide which treatment to choose when presented with a variety of options? How do I maximize my healthy lifespan? You can get answers to these questions and more at Ask Dr. Don here on KSQD every Thursday night at 6 p.m.
My name is Luigi Opido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of the Computer Man Show, a 1-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on the Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer. Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Be in the Night, bring you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
As always, the amazing sounds of jazz coming up right after the Computer Man Show with Bobby B and Be in the Night. Don't miss it. It's amazing, and we'll let all this computer nonsense turn to goo and ooze out of your ears, which is how it's supposed to be. So stick around, Bobby B, Be in the Night, making it awesome, making it perfect as he always does. He'll come up at 7 o'clock. And, of course, if you love jazz, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights is amazing for jazz from 7 to 10 here on KSQD. Stick around, and you'll get a good start with it. Be in the Night, 7 o'clock. Stick around. All right, well, here we are coming up on the last quarter section here of the Computer Man Show on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Let's see what we can talk about. I got 41. Let's see, do I have all this stuff? Yeah, I was talking about this. Got some AI stuff, NVIDIA, talked about Facebook. I hate it. All right, let's do it. Let's get on some of these email questions. Oh my gosh, this packet is like 15 pages thick. That's awesome. Okay. Actually, before we do that, we got another email. I love the emails. On air at ksqd.org. You can always listen to us or email me there. And it's good. It said, greetings, Luigi. Thanks for your program. You're very welcome. Asked a similar question some time ago, and you recommended an older model iPhone. I'd like to find something with an even bigger screen. Not geriatric yet, but some small screens and smartphones are tough for my eyesight and bad for my posture. I don't blame you. Can you recommend a tablet that's also a good phone, maybe top, middle, and low end cost-wise? Maybe even consider a smallish laptop or Chromebook. Okay, so I'm thinking, first, if you need to stay in the Apple paradigm, the biggest phone you're going to be able to get, phone, is going to be like the 12 or the 15 or 16 Pro Plus Max. Like that's the biggest screen. It's like a 6.7 or maybe even 7 inches all the way across. Now I think it's like 6.7 inches, but that's going to be the biggest phone that you're gonna be able to get. Now, if you're dialing phone numbers, you can actually get an iPad. I'm almost positive you can get an iPad that like an iPad Pro that's like 12.9 inches, gigantic. And if you get the iPad, you can actually get one that's a cellular based one, which has a SIM card. If it has a SIM card, theoretically, then that is a cellular number that then you could make phone calls with using your iPad. Granted, the iPad will do everything else without a SIM card if you're on Wi-Fi. You can jump onto WhatsApp and make phone calls. You can jump onto Skype, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, all those things if you're reaching out to Europe. And especially if you're doing face-to-face calls like FaceTime, etc. The iPad will do all that, and it's a huge screen, 12.5 inches or 12.9 inches, 12 inches. It's huge, which would be great for your eyes. You set the display to be a little bit larger, and then you maybe do some high contrast on there. And with a 12.9 inch screen, I would be able to look at it without my glasses on, which is amazing. But yeah, if you had that would fit in a backpack or just a large bag, or if you were to get one of the larger screens here, that is one of the iPhones, etc. The other thing I was thinking is if you went Android, the foldable Android phones might be something awesome, like the Samsung Galaxy Z. Is a normal sized phone on one side, then you open it up and it's like twice as big inside. So that would be like a tablet size, but then you fold it closed and you've got a normal phone size. I think that also would be something that would be really good and advantageous for you, because then you'd be able to get the bigger screen but not have to carry around like a backpack fully. You'd only have to carry around something that would be a little bit smaller. The iPad is big. It's not foldable. It's a big thing, but you're going to be able to get that big screen. So hit a Best Buy and go into that front little, if you go to the Best Buy on 41st, they have a lot of the phones out. You can see that foldable phone and see if it's large enough for you. And if it isn't, go in the back and go check out the large iPads and see how those feel in your eyes. Yeah, but if you're carrying around an iPad, they have tons of cases. They have things that like the iPad itself turns into like a little strapped, like device with like a rugged case on it, and then you just look like, like you're a Xfinity person walking around checking Wi-Fi's or something. But yeah, that would do it for your phone, and that would do it for FaceTime and all those other things. And so you need a cellular version of an iPad that would allow you to make those phone calls. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what else we've got going on here. Let's get into our emails here. Okay. Oh, I guess we just found out. So someone just woke up. So just wanted to say hello. Hello, Penelope. Love you out there. Hope you're having a great night. I hope you're being nice to mommy. Okay. My internet keeps randomly disconnecting and reconnecting Wait, no, we already did that one. Yeah, I didn't clear those ones out again. I'm sorry, everybody. Let's see. This is this one, which is why this is so long. Let's see. We had the RAM one. Retroactive become obsolete with digital dementia. We talked about that. I didn't clear out the old emails here from my stuff, so we're just going to go through this really quickly together. That's the phone making a brick. We talked about that last time. Office 365. Okay, here we go. Let's start with this one. All right, this is a great question. Okay. Can my high school go through my phone if I'm on their Wi-Fi network? I get asked this stuff all the time because we're getting interconnected everywhere. And if you don't exactly know what you're doing when you connect onto, that could be that can be scary. We do a lot of personal stuff on our devices, whether or not it's legitimate, illegitimate, whatever you're doing. Could be medical, could be whatever you're doing. You don't want the school to hand over, if you're doing something personal, you don't want to hand that over to your organization, to your work, to your school, or whatever you're doing, right? You want to make sure that you're covered. So this is a great question. My high school recently said their public Wi-Fi basically goes through all of our phones if we connect to it. Flags potentially inappropriate stuff, can see the text you send, etc. But they said they've got some sort of algorithm involved with it. Is that possible, or are they bluffing? Okay, so let's actually talk about that, because there's some legitimacy, but not a lot. So they will be able to see the name of the website you visit, okay? So if you're going to an adult website that has adult names, they're going to be able to see that. Are they going to be able to see what videos you watched inside the adult website? Not necessarily, but they'll be able to see the traffic has gone to that website. So that's one thing if you're doing like adult stuff or something on there. If you want to get around that, you would use a VPN or an encrypted DNS, which is a little bit heavier, but a VPN, most people are pretty comfortable right now with virtual private networks and the VPN service, where you just buy a service, you turn it on, and instead of going down this pipe, down your AT&T or whatever, down the schools, it goes down that pipe to the VPN service and then goes to the internet and comes back through the pipe. But that's kind of a lie. It's not again, they're monitoring what websites you visit, but they would get the name of the website, like Google, Reddit, CNN, adultwebsite.com, whatever it could be. And again, a VPN would thwart that as well. The VPN will encrypt all the traffic, right? And then, which would stop everyone from snooping if there was anything. But again, unless you're causing problems, unless you're a target, unless you're doing something that everyone's like, whoa, man, so-and-so is going to jump on the network and crash it again, they're not going to watch for you. They're not going to look out for you. I'm speaking from experience. They are understaffed and overworked. So they're not going to go after somebody unless you're really causing problems, or if you've crashed the network or done something nefarious that then the school says, hey, take away from just keeping everything running, and let's make sure we can focus on this one person. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, it would be a pain. So I did Chico State's Student Computing Center for many years. Didn't have a lot of cell phone stuff, but did a lot of work network stuff and also school network stuff. And so there are hundreds of devices, hundreds. They would have to find yours, first of all, right? Make sure it was yours by checking all of the MAC addresses, IPs, all that stuff. And then they'd actually have to match the requests to see where you've been. So they have to match it with the device. It's a big process. This is like snooping digitally, right? So, and then they'd have to maybe configure some type of alerting to report when the device accesses the website shouldn't be accessing. And so that can be done. But again, are you flagging it? Are you creating a problem to make it so that people are watching you this way? Because if you're not, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, it's just not going to happen. So let's see. Yeah, so that's basically it. So can my high school go through my phone if I'm on the Wi-Fi network? No. You have to go to the bad websites and do it over and over again and get flagged like heavy. So you should be fine. My laptop keyboard is locked, and I don't know how to unlock it. I'm unable to use my laptop keyboard. It has a number key glowing and sometimes even the caps lock key. Okay. The laptop is the 14th gen of Lenovo LOQ. And I tried function plus num keys as the Lenovo website suggests, but no avail. I'm currently using an external keyboard, and that works, but I can't carry that around. Help. Okay, so I'm curious. First thing I always look at with a keyboard, a lot of times it's just the keyboard. There's the very few machines have protocols to disable the onboard keyboard, because it's so important and so integral to using the machine. The trackpad can be disabled because maybe you're bumping it or something because you're using the keyboard. So it's very rare to disable the entire keyboard, but sometimes in BIOS there is something that you can disable the keyboard. So if you can, with the external keyboard, get into BIOS and see if there's something in there. And at that point, then if you saw something in there that was able to disable it or turn it on, you'd be able to know if it's a BIOS thing, which is actually the basic input-output system that's routing the power through everything before the operating system takes over and applies drivers. It would then let you know if that's more of a hardware thing or if it's a software thing. So if you see it in the device manager, uninstall and reinstall, and if you get exactly the same features, that should be, or if it's working exactly the same, then most likely it's a hardware issue. It's, again, very rare for a keyboard to software stop working. I just don't see that. We see hardware failures all the time. And if it was a software thing, most likely the external keyboard also wouldn't work because it's the same keyboard controller that's doing that input-output. So it's either going to be the internal keyboard, or a section of the keyboard has died and some of the other parts of the keyboard works, or it's the whole thing has died. And it sounds like your keyboard let go. So I would say it's my dollar down would be that it's a hardware issue because if you put me in front of a computer and said disable this keyboard without booting into Windows, that'd be very difficult. Also, the other thing too, I would get into the BIOS and see if I can use like the arrow keys, see if I can change a value, see if there's something I can type into in BIOS, because then if you can type into something in BIOS and the keyboard works and then you launch Windows and it doesn't, then you know it's a software thing, right? But if you're in BIOS where nothing is running yet, nothing, it's before the post test, before the power on self test, or the post beep, which is a power on self test, you're sitting there before anything's running. So if you don't have a mouse, if you don't have a keyboard and it's supposed to be running, that means you've got a fundamental hardware issue. And that's not something that usually the function keys will turn on or off. Every once in a while, the function keys will work by themselves without, before BIOS. They'll work in the BIOS system and then they'll do stuff. But very rarely that's the case. The function keys and all the higher level stuff, it's just basic input output stuff at that point. So I would say it's hardware. Okay, another one. Let's see here. How should I store sentimental videos? A way that won't be in use on my device any longer. I want to clear storage on my computer, and I wish to have them on a physical device like an external hard drive, but not sure if that's safe or smart. I've heard of clouds, but they seem expensive, and when going up in memory. Any affordable clouds for 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte? What do you recommend to make sure I never lose my sentimental videos? Okay, so that's a great question. They say in the world, if you have your data in 3 places, you won't lose it, and including the original. So if you have the original, wherever that is, you're clearing up space, so we're going to be removing that. So you'd want to put the original someplace else, and then having basically 2 backups of that. So I know that these are sentimental videos. These are important videos. So you'd want them in that, and if you have in those 3 places, you won't lose them. And granted, one of those 3 places should be off-site. So if you have 2 external hard drives and then a 3rd external hard drive you save at work, theoretically, if work burns down, you have the other 2. If your house burns down, you have the 1. That horrible circumstance. Google Drive gives you 15 gigabytes for free, which is fine, but it's not going to be anything for sentimental videos. I mean, you have 1 video up there, it's going to could take up a quarter of that or even half of that. And also that includes anything on your Android phone, anything in your Gmail. It's not just for Drive. But I would recommend getting an external hard drive. The external solid state drives scare the bubbles out of me. I don't like the external solid state drives. It just seems like there's too much to go wrong. Spinning hard drives have been an industry standard for 20, 30 years plus. More than that, right? 40 years now. 45 years. Geez, okay. Anyway, they've been around for a long time. And they've been around that way because they work. Granted, everything mechanical fails. That's just the way things are. But if you were to get 2 hard drives, or maybe in this case because you're taking the data off, you get 3 hard drives. Like I said, copy everything off into the 1, make a copy on the 2nd, make a copy on the 3rd, and then store that 3rd one someplace else. Put the 2nd one on a shelf and work on the 1st one or something, and then back up. Have a backup schedule that you would do. Something like that would be a way that you'd keep it. I know it sounds ridiculously archaic. If you can, I think Box.com. There's Box, and there's another one that is like you get a terabyte for free. It's something ridiculous like that, like a terabyte of storage for free. And that's an online cloud service. I would recommend that. Or even if you want, I don't know if you want to access them online, you could get like a Western Digital MyBook that is your own cloud service that is an external hard drive that sits on your desk. So instead of having instead of having a USB port out the back of the drive, it actually has an Ethernet port that plugs into your network. And then that way you have an external drive that's on your network that you can get to and you can put all the files on and do all the things you want to do. But then if you leave town, you leave the country, and you want to get back to those files, you have your cloud running right there at your home. Or if you're leaving and you don't want access to those files, you want anyone else to have access to those files, you can just unplug it, and now your cloud is completely segmented and it's off. So that could also be an idea for getting stuff off your machine and saved. But if you're doing solid state drives, if you do a solid state external hard drive, do not let them sit in your closet for more than 5 years. You got to boot them up every once in a while to make sure that they're live. It's ridiculous. On a spinning hard drive, not necessarily the case. You could come out after a couple of years, and as long as there's not a lot of magnetism around them, they should be able to function and fire up and be good. So it's just, storing things. It's all about the space that you need, and it's unfortunately some costs too, because if you're buying 3 hard drives, that's not cheap. That's not cheap at all. So I think if money wasn't a factor and you don't want things in the cloud, 3 hard drives, one someplace else, and that would be the one. That's what I would do. So yeah. Okay, another one here in the last minute. Let's see, virus. Let's see. Oh, okay. This one kind of goes to a lot of things that we normally talk about here. My brother has somehow access to my laptop. Today, I texted my friends my remarks, and the very next minute, my brother said, quote, "You will do better in the next one," like the grades. I asked him how he knew what my grades were, and he said, "It's my laptop. I know everything. I can see your screen time and everything you do." The conversation proceeded with him revealing that he has something to do with virtual machine and control. How do I stop this? I have Windows 11. Okay, well, if it's your laptop now, let's wipe it. Let's get rid of that thing completely. Let's wipe it completely clean. Put a fresh install of Windows, which you can download using the media creation tool online, just with a 16 gig flash drive, and doing a Google search searching for media creation tool Windows. You'll be able to download and install an entire installer from Windows 11, plug in your laptop, erase all the partitions, plug that guy in, and launch it. And you'll be able to put brand new Windows 11 on it, and it'll be yours. You'll be able to start fresh, and it will not do anything for virtual or remote desktop that he's got. Also, make sure you have a strong, secure password, because that's also probably coming through. And never let him know. Just never let him know the password. And you don't even need to let him know that he's going to be putting a new operating system on, because it'll just lose connection for him. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, got here a little late, or got out a little bit late. Apologies. If I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. Remember to tune into the Computer Man Show Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Hell, Francine, Rachel, David, Gibbard, John Sandage, all Santa Cruz, Nicola Tesla, Waz, Mr. Casey, Torvalds, and of course, the humble Electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your Computer Man here on K-Squid, KSQD 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man, he is your friend. He gonna help you again and again. So if you have a question or two, he's got the answer just for you. I am the computer man, and I am ready for questions now, thank you.
Mr. Computer Man, how much is 2 plus 2?
4.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell cat?
C-A-T.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
With letters. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man is very wise. He speaks the truth, he never lies. So if there's something you don't understand,